Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, I'm going to be doing a reading for us. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is amazing things are in store for you. So, really, really good things are going to be happening. Hopefully. 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 Really quick, I want to put some things on the screen. I do have the Black Magic Revocation Workshop coming up next weekend. If you want to learn how to defend your space from malignant mofos, you should go check it out. Click on that QR code or the link in the comment, and it will take you right to where you need to be. Another thing is that tomorrow I'll be going live at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time with a past life tea party. I'm going to be doing expedites, readings, scans, um, energetic work, past life readings, all sorts of different things. Go check it out. If you've been wanting to get some work done by me, that's a perfect time to do it. And then, of course, right after this live stream, I'm going to go ahead and go live in the Soul Sanctuary exclusive chat. That's where our congregation members go and we talk about really profound things and encourage each other and really just open the floor for anyone and everyone who wants to add to the conversation. Soul is telling me that today, for the Soul Sanctuary exclusive chat that we're going to do, it's time to talk about healthy love. Healthy love. Like, what is healthy love? How do we make that happen for ourselves? If you are not already part of our congregation, in case you don't know, I'm actually a senior pastor for a church that I started, founded in the teachings of Jesus. Yes, Jesus was a Nazarene Essene, and these teachings are in full alignment with the truth of his teachings. So, if you'd like to be part of our congregation or support our church work, go ahead and click on that QR code or the link in the comment, and it will take you to a recurring contribution page. And those who are recurring contributors, congregation members, you have access to the exclusive areas. If you're in the United States, those contributions, because we are a legally formed church, you can use that as a tax deduction. Okay, let us begin, you guys. Let us begin from the starting point. Okay, here goes. Ooh, okay, okay, okay. So you went through something that caused you to question your dedication. You went through something that caused you to question yourself, that made you feel as though, like, what is it that I'm doing? What is this all about? Why do I even continue with trying with all of these different things that really just stress me out consistently? Well, it's because you're stepping into your creation power. You are needing to step into this creation power wholeheartedly. Amazing things are in store for you, and they're in store for you based on how willing you are to participate, how deeply you want to commit to this, right? So, if you begin now, and you have to begin now, there are certain things that are coming into play. Ooh, I got some stuff to talk about in the sanctuary as well, where some of the readings that I was giving last autumn, last summer, even, they're absolutely coming into play with the way the world is shifting and changing. You guys, let me just take a moment with myself. Let me just take a moment, because right now I'm feeling a lot of energy in my chest. And part of the reason I'm feeling energy in my chest is because I'm realizing, like, it's been clicking for me. Lots of clicks, click, 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 click. All of these random readings that I was doing last summer, even some up to last spring, like a year ago, especially those in autumn of 2023. It's making sense why I was saying these things. It's making sense why I was like, hey, you guys should seriously consider this, this, and this, because you need to make sure that you're going to be okay. Um, some of these things, including starting your own business, things where I'm telling people to learn specific skills, all of it is now absolutely making sense. So you're being given advanced knowledge yet again. Okay. There are things that need to be put into play before next autumn. You need to start working on this. Hold on. One of my lights didn't turn on. Okay. So there are certain things that are coming into play. Whatever these things are, I know it's hard to believe that good things are supposed to happen for you, but they are. I promise you they are. These good things that you're wanting and needing. The reason you want it, the reason you need it is because it was always for you. If you do what needs to be done starting now, make it happen. You know what happens? You enter into a space of prosperity. There are things that are about to majorly, massively shift. Okay. I cannot talk about those things publicly. I can ask if I can talk about those things in the sanctuary today. But there are major, major things, and it's going to cause a collapse in this experience called life, in the way we experience life. It's going to collapse. And I want to steer clear of insinuating anything about financials and government and things like that in a public live stream. I'm talking about the way we see, the way we function. There's going to be a collapse in order to clear the path for a new way of being for ourselves. This is going to happen in the micro as well as the macro. I wish I could put it in more layman's terms. I wish I could put it in more layman's terms. If you can find the courage to do what needs to be done, you're going to set yourself up very nicely. And this doesn't include needing to scam people or like use people or lie or cheat or any of that. Those who do the lying and the cheating and the very dishonorable things, they're being phased out, rightfully so. I don't feel bad for them at all. Rightfully so. All of that is being phased out. Those who can stand in the light of their truth, you are going to stand out. If you can allow yourself to be the foundation of your brand, I'm going to have a soul based business workshop. I'm going to figure out in my schedule when I'm going to have a soul based business workshop, and I'm going to teach you guys this stuff. It's not going to be, it's not this. Oh, here. Huh. I totally forgot. I have that up here too. If you want personalized one-on-one information pertaining strictly to you and what you should do, how you should move through it, the types of considerations that you need to consider, you can go ahead and check out the Soul Based Business Mentorship. That's a private session with me. You can click on that QR code or the link in the comment. But it's time for people who are actually ready to learn how to move through these things. If you are unfamiliar with my personal history, I began my company stuck in a parking lot. Stuck in a parking lot for months. I was stuck in a parking lot in a broken RV. I only spent $30. And from that $30 investment every month, I built multiple corporations. How? By listening to soul. And in this moment, I will share this. I can't share everything that I'm doing and all the things I'm aware of when it comes to my personal journey. In this moment, I am absolutely aware soul is strategically positioning me among specific environments to catapult me forward in ways I cannot even fathom. And I'm just like, whatever you say, fine, I'll do it. You want me to do this? You want me to do that? What holding company, trust, irrevocable trust? What else do you need me to do? Everything is being aligned. What do you need me to do? And I'm being encouraged to move in a way that protects everything, locks everything down so nothing can be disrupted or destroyed. Because the level that I'm going to operate at, again, it's something so profound, I cannot wrap my mind around it. But just because I cannot wrap my mind around it does not mean I will not welcome it back home to me. Right? It means I'm going to receive the guidance from soul that I'm needing to receive. I'm willing to receive it. I'm willing to put it into action. I am willing to move through spaces that feel uncomfortable for me. Spaces. Mm. Oh, I felt what I was about to say. Spaces that are so uncomfortable, it brings me close to crying. I'm done playing small. I'm done fighting whatever I'm supposed to do with or without other people. I'm pushing forward. I'm pushing at the speed soul tells me to push, in the direction soul tells me to push. I'm pausing when soul tells me to pause. I'm doing everything soul asks of me with no expectations, just knowing these are things I need to do. I don't know why, but I'm doing it. And I feel strongly within my heart, amazing things will begin happening. Things that I know lead to other amazing things and other amazing things and other amazing things until I find myself at a point where these visuals that I've been seeing for years, because they never change, they never change. These visuals that I've been seeing for years, portions of my life, I will be actively living them. There's one really profound conversation I was having. And I'm going to try not give so much detail because it's a private conversation. But there's this person who's very near and dear to me, and I'm like, what I'm shown for you just doesn't change. I don't experience that very often. For most people, the vision will change. It will shift, it will adjust, it will be refined, or it will be completely removed, depending on the person's state of mind, the trajectory, all of those things. Um, that's what determines. That's what determines. And so for this specific individual, I'm like, it actually kind of weirds me out because your vision never changes. And then I shared the vision. I shared the outfit down to like, ooh, this buttery material is like a custom tailored haute couture suit. I'm telling you, it was bougie. I was like, boo. You know what I'm saying? That's bougie. But I mean, you're operating at that level. You need to dress the part, right? And then it was this thing of like, yeah, you're showing me a luxury compound with a view of the ocean from the kitchen and the living room. And what's funny is they have this vision as well. of me and them being in this property. They don't know what it means, but they describe the windows, and I'm like, yes, of course. I don't want square windows. Do you realize how extra I am if I allow myself to exist in a space of extra? I mean, the degrees of extra. Oh, you like high ceilings? Boo, high is not enough for me. Vaulted is not enough. I want cathedral and the common living spaces. The only acceptable height of ceiling, if you're going to let me have my way and let me choose, it needs to at least be 2 stories, if not 2.5. I like airiness. And I don't like square windows. They're basic. I love arches. I love the way the sun plays as it kisses the top of the arch. I love the shadows that are cast on natural stone floors. I love the way hardwoods play with stone. I have a very specific bougie as fuck lifestyle in my head. Real life, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I just want to be with my family. I don't really care. It doesn't matter where or the size of the house. I mean, realistically, we're always together. So we really could just like live in a big studio if we wanted to. We're literally in the same room all the time. Yeah, it's no biggie. But if you're going to give me the option of choosing, yes, I don't want a mansion. I don't want an estate. What I require is a compound. And you see the differences. Well, this person's vision lines up with my own. It is a compound with a private beach access. I can hear the water from the kitchen and the living room and the terrace of my bedroom. These are visions that don't change for me. They just never do. Since the first time I saw them, they've never changed. Just more and more details are given as I get closer and closer to what I need to do, to this amazing thing that's in store for me. I'm just given more and more details, but the original details never change. So, what does that mean? It is not a potentiality, it is part of my destined path. It is part of my destined path. And by the time I get there, I will have multiple sanctuaries. It will be global. And I'll be so deep living in my purpose that I won't worry about anything because I won't have time to. I'll be so focused on what I'm building next, who I'm helping next, what region of the world am I going to touch. Live like that, where you allow yourself the time and the space to process as you are living the purpose you were designed to live. It has to start now. And yo, I'm telling you this wearing, I like my son gave me this. The rest of my clothes are either from Costco or Walmart because I'm not tripping. I own 0 expensive purses. The last purse I bought was 20 something bucks. Yes. And I haven't bought a purse in quite a few years before that. I'm not tripping. But just because I'm perfectly fine and comfortable in the life that I have right now, which is a very basic existence, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't feel any lacking in that. That doesn't mean I'm going to block a life of extreme abundance that will give me the ability to afford how I will change this world. I'm not going to change it from a space of poverty. I tell you that much. So now I'm in a space of I'm going to grind hard. I'm going to earn every single thing I need to earn, whether it's opportunity, whether it's connection, whether it's money is irrelevant to me. I'm going to do everything soul tells me to do because you know what? I need to be able to afford the things I will do to change this world. I'm not going to save the world from itself. I'm going to completely change it. So there's nothing we need to be saved from. Ooh. Mm. Hmm. Ain't that some shit? Yet another little detail. Yet another little detail. So we're not going to need to save ourselves from the world that we are creating. We're not going to need a vacation from our lives. We're going to live so in tune with our purpose that there's nothing you want more than to just simply be fully present. Ain't that something? Just because someone owns something designer does not make them materialistic. And just because you like the finer things in life does not mean you're a bad person. It doesn't at all. I know quite a few people who have the designer purses, whose clothes are finely tailored. They have the beautiful shoe collection. They have all of these very expensive investments in material, tangible things, and they still maintain the beauty of the person they are. They are not corrupted by the money or the materials. You see, what took me a very, very, very long time to realize, and what has completely eroded my fear of wealth, is that I thought if I allowed myself to receive the wealth that is rightfully set aside for me, that it would corrupt me, that I would become a shadow, a hollow shell of the person that I am, that I would simply want more and more and more and never be satisfied and become an ugly, ugly, distorted version of my most beautiful, authentic self. See, here's the thing. I'm who I am. None of that's going to change me. Why? Because I've already had access to money and I didn't get care. I didn't get corrupted by that. I've had people who have thrown money my way like crazy. Like crazy. Like crazy. I have had people who have spent five, six, seven, $8,000 one go on my website. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Right? Some of those people, they need those sessions. Beautiful. I'll help you. And then there were a very small number, very, very small, single digit, who would consistently do that. And it wasn't that they needed the sessions, it's that in their head, they were purchasing me. You're out. Oh, I don't give a shit about $10,000 purchase. I'll earn that money a different way. Yeah, no, you're out. You're out. You're out. You're not, you're not purchasing me. No. You see, and I had to have those things happen a couple times where it's like, damn, that's a lot. But why? I already told you you don't need these things. Why? Why? Why are you spending like this? Mm, you think you could corrupt me? Yeah, no, no. I'm absolutely willing to not have income from you specifically because I need to remain intact. I am not for sale. I am not for sale. And now that I've learned these things, come to the realization no amount of money will change me. Most people, they keep that client. They'll keep that client. That's easy. 10, 15,000 a month from one person. They're not tripping. That's play money to them. Would you keep that client? Well, I mean, if you're parasitic AF, fuck no, I'm not keeping you. I can only help you to a certain point, and then I'm like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Because my integrity is not for sale. It's not even a high ticket item. It's just not for sale, period. And now that I've gone through a couple of those, not a lot, not a lot. Now that I've gone through a couple of those situations where it's very clear to me there's nothing I have to be afraid of when it comes to money. I am already fully formed. I'm a grown ass adult woman. You're not going to change me anymore. This is just who I am. It's going to take a tremendous life circumstance and God itself to change me. This is who I am at this point. And it's okay for me to like nice things if I'm drawn to it. I'm just not at this point. It's also okay for me to like things that aren't nice, to like things that are secondhand. That's okay. Your preferences does not determine whether you are a good person or a bad person. It just doesn't. Now, when you have a character that seeks external validation by way of purchasing high ticket items, that's an insecurity. That should be worked on. Still doesn't mean you're bad. But when you use those high ticket items to shit on other people, then absolutely you're a shitty person. And that can also be adjusted. That can be corrected. You can fall back in line with the reality of the greatness that you're destined to be. Either way, be yourself. Allow yourself to be yourself and operate at the level of integrity that is necessary for you to welcome home all of these amazing things that are in store for you. How do I know that these amazing things will happen for me? I don't. Why am I told that these amazing things will happen for me? In order for me to work through my hesitation and my fear. And that is what I'm doing. Working through my hesitation and my fear of receiving what is rightfully for me. Well, Emmy, how do you know that's rightfully for you? That's so presumptuous. That's so ego based. That's so this, that's so that. Well, I mean, when my soul continues to tell me and show me things that I really am not interested in, um, I need to begin at some point listening. At some point, I need to begin allowing myself to accept that maybe I have this destined path that involves extreme amounts of financial abundance because I'm not interested in being wealthy. Therefore, I will not hoard it. Therefore, I will be perfectly positioned to do with that what I am destined to do. I don't need to know what that is for me right now. I don't need to know the exact details of how I will get there. I just need to know I keep going in the direction soul tells me to go, and things will continue to unfold. Don't let pride get in your way. For some of you, this pride that you have, it's not about feeling like you're better than other people. It's this pride that you take in punishing yourself, in withholding from yourself. Because what? You think it makes you a better person, that you're deficient in the things you need? It does not. It does not. It does not save you from drama. It does not prevent people from being mean to you. Do you know how nice I was? Unnecessarily nice I was for how many years? That did not prevent people from trying to cyberbully me, trying to cancel me, trying. I had one person literally legit try and encourage me in a private message, try to encourage me to unalive myself. Why? But I'm nice. Well, that's why. Because they knew they could get away with whatever. I would just take it. So I had to learn through life circumstance. Life and all the difficulties are preparing me, cultivating me to reach a point of emotional and intellectual maturity that I will no longer allow any of those things to occur. I just won't. I once wore a $15 dress. I looked fine AF, and I bet you look fine AF in everything, Miss El Sexy. A woman complimented me, so I told her, and I only spent $15 on it, excitedly. She said, "Oh, honey, you shouldn't tell people." Oh, the label on your clothing. The label on your clothing does not give you worth. This is my personal stance. And I've had this since I was in high school. It's this thing of the more you need to broadcast by these obnoxious logos and labels. Uh, yeah, logos and labels, right? Um, the more you need people to see that you're wearing a specific designer. To me, that's the more you are broadcasting how insecure you are about your worth. If I were to wear something that is designer, it would not have the logo on it. You would not know who I am wearing unless you're familiar with their catalog for that season. If I'm going to purchase something that is finely tailored, I am purchasing it because it is finely tailored, not because of the label, not because of the brand, but because this is a piece that fits beautifully with the aesthetic I've already developed for myself. It's something about broadcasting the insecurity. I have no problem telling people how much I pay for my clothes or where I got my clothes from. Because, honey, I know my body, I know my shape. For a time, I worked as a wardrobe stylist, makeup artist, hairstylist, and photographer. I can make anything look good if I want it to look good. I remember one time I was clearing out my closet, and when I was much younger, people would always compliment, like, "Oh my God, I love your style." I know, right? Thank you. Right? Like, sexy gothic. Please stop. Black on black on black. What? Texture is a vibe. Anyways, so I was clearing out my closet, and my husband, he was my boyfriend at the time. He's like, "The fuck do you wear?" Because if you look through my closet, you're like, "What the hell do you wear?" But when you see it on me, I promise you, you're like, "Ooh, girl. Yes. Yes." I had this one shirt that was like, um, it was like synthetic Angola. I'm telling you, texture is a vibe. And on me, it's like super luxe. I'm telling you, it's this crop top. It was a bright ass green. Not not lime green, but it was just like the juiciest jewel tone green. And oh my goodness, people always be like, "Oh, look at you." And I'm like, "Hey." And then, you see that in my closet, you're like, "What is this? AstroTurf? Synthetic Angola? What?" It's all in the way you carry yourself. Seriously. When you carry yourself as though you deserve, you will be given more. When you carry yourself as though you deserve, you will be given more. I've tried this many, many times. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. There have been times where there are certain rules in place at certain places. I will break those rules because I can. Yeah. Are you gonna tell me no? You're not gonna tell me no. Why? Because you're not gonna tell me no. It's not a big deal. And no one ever tells me no. And it's not pretty privilege because I'm not pretty to everybody. I'm serious. And then someone else will come right behind me and then they'll be like, "Oh, excuse me, you're not supposed to do that." And I'm like, "You left room to question." You left room to question, so they questioned you and then told you you're not allowed. All right? Mhm. And I know people are thinking like, "Oh, she's just bragging this and that." I'm not talking about aesthetics. See, that's where you're stuck. That's where you're stuck. You think I'm talking about aesthetics, but I'm not. I'll give you an example. So I have quite a few kids, and for quite a long time, my kids were born like 18 months to 2 years apart. So back to back to back to back to back, I was popping out babies, right? And with the exception of my oldest, all my children were exclusively breastfed for the first however many years of their life until they chose to stop breastfeeding. So I tell you, um, I was breastfeeding for I think like well over a decade straight, straight, straight. Yes. And a lot of people they catch a lot of flack from others about needing to cover their baby's head. Like you go put your coat on top of your head while you're eating. You go suffocate yourself. You're not doing that to my baby. Like no, I'm not going to. What? I'm not apologetic. Breasts were made to feed human children. Oh, you think it's sexual? That sounds like a you problem, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Never had a single person, not a single person complain about me breastfeeding my child in public uncovered. And this was before it was cool. Like, no, my child needs to breathe when they eat. I will whip my boob out at the dining table in a restaurant. We're eating as a family. What do you mean I should go to the bathroom? You take your plate and you go eat in the bathroom. I'm not bringing my child anywhere, right? And people be like, "Oh my gosh, that's indecent exposure." Okay, I will give you this. My breasts were large, extremely large. I was a lactating mother, over a triple F cup. So, yeah, very large. I want you to describe to me the size and shape and color of my nipple and areola. I'm waiting. You can't. Right. So that's not indecent exposure. That is not indecent exposure. Not a single time did I ever, in over a decade of breastfeeding in public, not a single time did I ever have a single person approach me and tell me that they were uncomfortable, that I needed to go, I needed to cover up, or any of that? Why? Because I'm not apologetic. There's no room for you to get me to question myself and the validity of me feeding my child in the way my body was designed to feed my child. I did have one time this old lady who didn't want to mind her own business and stay in her own lane. I wore my children for the first 2 years of their lives, if not longer. I wore them in a tribal baby carrier. It looks like a t-shirt, right? This like scrunched up fabric t-shirt. So I have my baby in there and he's breastfeeding. He's asleep breastfeeding. I'm grocery shopping and it's covered his head. And this lady realized there was a baby moving in my shirt. And she goes, "Oh, how cute." And she walks up and she pulls it like this without asking me if it was okay. And I was like, "Ooh, she saw my boob." Just the top part, just the top part. And she got so embarrassed, and I was like, "You okay?" "I'm so sorry, I didn't know." "Right, right. You gonna be okay?" Okay. I'm going to just go ahead and keep grocery shopping. Okay. All right. The baby's asleep. Please don't wake him. Okay. Yeah. Never have I ever been apologetic, ever. And that left no room for someone else to think they had the space to try and shame me in public. Absolutely. It wasn't no pretty aesthetics. Uh-uh. It wasn't any pretty girl privilege because when you're a mother of how many toddlers back to back to back, I'm telling you, the last thing you're interested in is being pretty. As long as I didn't have kids' snacks in my hair and my pants weren't showing my butt crack at the top, we good. Let's go grocery shopping. Yeah. Had nothing to do with pretty aesthetics. Absolutely not. Had everything to do with me owning myself, my space, my journey. No, you're not going to tell me anything otherwise. And no, I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm just trying to live my life. I found that when you just try and live your life without trying to intentionally be offensive and edgy and cool and yeah, mm-mm. People lose their ballsiness to approach you and try and start drama with you. But you have to own your journey. You have to. Because, man, during that period, a lot of people that I knew that were breastfeeding, they were like, "How come no one ever tells you?" Like, no one ever goes up to you and tells you, like, "Oh, could you cover up?" I was like, "Why would they? Why would they?" I one time had a kid who, I want to say maybe they were like maybe 7 or 8, something like that. I'm not sure. But I was at the mall and I was feeding the baby and he was just staring at me. I mean, that's old enough to know manners. That's old enough to know manners. And so I was staring at him too, smiling. And after a certain point, I was like, "Are you hungry? Are you hungry?" I mean, I'm not offering my boob, right? I'm not. Because if they're hungry, um, I see their parent sitting on the bench. I'm going to ask their parent if their child has been fed because they're staring at me feeding my child. Hmm. Absolutely. I'm all for making sure children's needs are met. And if you're staring at me, uh, maybe you're hungry or are you thirsty? I'm not offering you anything that I make, but we're right by the food court. So maybe your parent needs to be made aware so that they can address your needs. Absolutely. So have no apologies for knowing that you are headed in specific directions, right? Follow the instructions from soul. I know. I was totally serious. I did tell the parent, I think your child is hungry. Parent was super embarrassed, as you should be. And that's a child. Why are you not paying attention to your child at the mall? Child has needs. Okay. Your commitment is being tested, but it's in reverse. So there's no testing of your commitment. Instead, you're being invited to further, more deeply commit to the process that you're in. A time to give rather than to take. Give yourself a break. Rather than taking other people's advice about the ways in which you're messing up, their criticisms, it's not even advice, it's a criticism. Rather than taking other people's criticisms, why don't you give yourself a break? Just allow yourself to kind of find a space within you where you can think about the things that you want, the things you want to accomplish, the way you might go about doing so, what types of connections you probably need to have. Believe in the impossible. There are quite a few different things that you probably are thinking it's impossible. There's no way. There's absolutely a way. If you guys knew me before, you would say it's impossible that she's going to become some type of public speaker. because I mean, the poor girl looks like she's gonna die speaking to people. Yeah, no, I'm very skittish. I'm very um I'm very skittish around people I don't know. And that has greatly changed. Some people would say that's impossible. The degree of change that's naturally occurred. You know, here's something to consider. Are you really the person that you think you are? Or is the person that you identify as nothing more than conglomeration of characteristics that your environment from childhood till now has told you you're supposed to be? Because it wasn't that long ago that I began really thinking about this, and I realized, I was actually extremely extroverted as a very young child. I was very extroverted to the point where I have memories of living in Oakland. We just newly immigrated, right? Well, I don't know. We didn't newly immigrate. We'd been there for a little bit already. And I started preschool, and my mom would come and pick me up, and um I don't know if I was a cute child or not, but um people were constantly smiling at me and waving at me, and so I was constantly waving and smiling at people like I was greeting my followers. And then my mom one day, she picked me up from preschool, and she took me aside and she said, "I better stop doing that. I better stop doing that because someone's going to kidnap me if I don't stop." And she had to keep telling me that because I was extremely friendly with people. She had to keep telling me that until finally I took that in. And till now, I'm skittish around people. I'm just like, I don't know what your intentions are, so I'm just gonna quietly observe you for a time, a long time. And then, of course, the things that have happened in my life as an adult have further reinforced that, you know what? Not everyone is a safe space for me. Not everyone has my best interest at heart. Not everyone should have access to me. So now I'm in the process of undoing the programs that told me to become something other than what I naturally am, which is a very people-y type person, but not so much these days. I can still be people-y, but it depends on the person. It depends on the environment, right? And it's not necessarily that I need to be upset about the way I was programmed as a child. I recognize now that programming has come in so clutch. Why? Well, because as more people realize the gravity of the work that I'm capable of doing, the work that I do privately, um, there are more and more people who are wanting to cross specific boundaries with me. It's not a lot, but there are those people. And me having these boundaries already in place and giving myself permission to enforce the boundaries, it's cut a lot of the BS that I don't need, that is very unhealthy for me. So, everything that's happened to you, including the programming of you, it can benefit you. It can serve you in some way to some degree as you further your trajectory, as you go further down your trajectory. So nothing will come of this situation, but again, it's in reverse. A lot is going to come of this. You have to start now. If you start now, you have until autumn. You're going to have to put work in. And then by autumn, you'll begin to see the fruits of your labor coming to fruition. But you have to start now. You have to. If you don't, you're going to miss out, and that's on you. I don't know what it is you need to do, but you have to start now. You have to. There's going to be a transitionary period as we go from the way the world functions right now to the way it's going to function once we're done with all the changes that are going to happen in the world. That transitionary period is going to be extremely difficult for those who don't make the plans now. If you are one of the people who are like, you hate this system, but you're hyper dependent on this system, is not going to end well. I know people are not going to like to hear that. I'm not here to tell you what you want to hear. I'm telling you what you need to know so that you can make decisions based on informed consent. Yep. Yes. And I can't tell you all the details because it's not my place to do so. But I can tell you, if you begin now, if you initiate whatever this is now, you are going to be perfectly fine through this transition. You are going to do very well, actually. There is going to be a massive transfer I'm not allowed to talk about. Okay. All right. Got to keep going. You are good enough in reverse. I think a lot of your hesitation stems from this sense that you feel you're not good enough, that there's no way little old you, um, there's no way little old you could be capable of this. Okay, I'm going to show you guys something. I sent this to my, um, hold on. I'm going to show you guys something, okay? I'm going to show you something you need to see because you need to understand that just because you don't understand doesn't mean it is impossible and will never happen. Give me 1 second. Un momento, por favor. Yesterday was your birthday. Happy birthday, sotto voce. Happy birthday, sotto voce. Happy birthday, sotto voce. Happy birthday, sotto voce. Yes, imposter syndrome. Yep. Okay, let's put these two on the screen. One is a, you know what? Let me just hold on. Okay. I was a troll back in the day. I can't even deny it. I can't deny it. I can't. Okay, let me show you guys this. So, okay. Back in the day, I was totally trollish and I used to make my own memes and stuff sometimes. Here goes. You see how tiny I am? Like tiny, tiny. Tiny, 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 tiny. Okay? Tiny. Look how tiny. When I say I was like the size of 8 to 10-year-old boy with gynecomastia, I absolutely was the size of an 8 to 10-year-old boy with gynecomastia. And then you look here, the next image. Hold on. There. This is me inside one of those plastic milk crates that you can get from Walmart, which is smaller than a commercial size milk crate. I fit in that. I fit in that. Yes. Yes. My thighs were the same size as my knees, which I have small knees. I could fit in a milk crate. And you look at those two images of how frail I seem, because that would be an accurate descriptive word for my size for quite a few years. I appeared very frail. One time I got back from a trip, international trip, and a friend of mine came to pick me up from the airport. She insisted. And I was like, okay. And this was my first time meeting her. And she pulls up as I'm coming out of the airport. She pulls up and I see her windows roll down and I wave at her and she realizes it's me. And then her face dropped like, and I immediately sensed it. And I was like, oh my God, did I do something? Oh my God. So I hurried up. I put my stuff in her car and we both get in and she's putting on her seatbelt and she's just staring at me. And she's like, you are itty bitty. And I was like, what? She goes, you're so tiny. I don't think so. But yeah, she was shocked. And she even said I looked frail to the degree where she's like, "Oh my God, I should have brought you food. You must be you must be famished. I should have brought you food. Tell me where to go. I'll get you any food you want. It's on me." And I'm like, "I'm not hungry though." Yeah, I was so tiny. I was tiny. And had you asked me then, would I be able to pack on the amount of muscle I've packed on now? Would I be able to lift as heavy as I lift now? It would have seemed impossible. I'm still the same person. It should be harder for me to do that now because I'm older, much older. Yet it's not. It's a lot easier for me to do it. Why? Because the only thing that's impossible is the thing you believe to be impossible. Your limits are what you believe your limits to be. And if you think you're too old, you think you're too this, you think you're too that, then yeah, it's going to be impossible because you created the impossibility for yourself. So instead of limiting yourself with your own beliefs, why don't you shift it into a space of, I'm not sure how that would be possible, but let's see. let's see. Let's see how it works. Let's see what happens. I'm open to seeing. Soul, go ahead and prove me wrong. Right? Another thing. I was live on TikTok several weeks back, and there was a person who had lost their sense of smell since I believe it was 2020 or maybe 2021. They haven't been able to smell anything at all for several years now. And I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I can do, but I'll try. I want to try. And before that live stream, that effort was done, they were able to smell their lavender candle. They were able to smell all sorts of different things. And yeah, I didn't know if I could because I was so very self aware that so many people were watching. And I became very, very nervous. Not nervous because I couldn't do it, but nervous about what happens if I do. Am I going to scare everyone? Am I going to suddenly be, like, is it going to start another round of people just accusing me of being demonic? And, that was my hesitation. But again, I am who I am already. It's extremely difficult for me to walk away from someone who is suffering, truly suffering. I can easily walk away from a manipulative person, suffering or not. I can easily walk away from that, right? But it's this thing of like, I need to at least try, regardless of the consequence. I want to at least try and help. I've already been through cycles of that. I know what to do. This time I will do it. I will put a halt to all of it. And as nervous as I am, I have to at least try. And if you can tell yourself something along those lines where I've been through the worst of the worst, I have to at least try. I know what to do and how to hold myself together as I go through horrible things. It's not fair, it's not right, but sometimes it's just a part of our journey. And I know what to do when that happens. I need to at least try. A large portion of what you thought to be impossible will suddenly become absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. Ruminate. Allow yourself to think about all of these different things that your soul is already telling you, like, this is part of the plan for you. This is part of what needs to happen for you. Vibration. Vibration. Did you guys know that vibration is internally held, internally stored frequency, energy? Your soul is bringing to your attention the gifts that you hold inside you. Your soul. It's letting you know everything you need is already within you. Transform, but it's in reverse. There's no way for you to transform yourself in your life as long as you keep everything that is most sacred under lock and key. When you do that, indiscriminately do that, keep all of your most beautiful parts under lock and key, your gifts, your spiritual nature. It's kind of broadcasting to soul as well as to demonic things that you don't trust in soul's ability to protect you, to defend you. You should stop doing that. You should very much stop doing that, because the sooner you stop doing that, the sooner your soul can go right back to its task of protecting and guiding you. Get clear, but it's in reverse. I think for many of us, we're very unclear as to what we're supposed to do. We're very unclear as to the person that we are. Mental repetition. Just like it needed to be pounded into your head, these erroneous beliefs you have about yourself. You need mental repetition in regards to you remembering and utilizing your greatness. This is why I'm so grateful for our community here on YouTube, especially. Very, very grateful for you guys. Why? Because over the years that I've been on YouTube, you have consistently been very vocal about my worth, about what I deserve, about your support of me, about your perception of me. And that's gone a very long way in helping to quiet down, to settle down all of these erroneous, distorted beliefs I have about myself. It's gone a very long way. Very, very, very long way. I've been more and more open about sharing some of the things that I thought I would never share with anybody. My experiences and my gifts, all of these things. It was because of your presence. Maybe the amazing things that are in store for you is you being fully immersed in an environment where you're allowed to shine, where not only are you allowed to shine, you are very much celebrated because you shine, right? Triggers. There's going to be a lot of triggers. There's going to be a lot of triggers, and those triggers are bringing to the surface the aspects of you, the aspects of your character that will facilitate the process that you are in. You are exiting out of a limited space of existence and entering into an unrestricted, extreme expansion of power and awareness of self. The more you become aware of yourself, the more powerful you become. For some people, they think like, oh, well, if I become powerful, will I become an egomaniac? Well, I mean, are you already one? Power doesn't suddenly create new characteristics. It just makes it easier for the characteristics that exist to be brought to the surface. So here's a thing that I'm going to say. Do you really think Sean Combs, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy, whatever you want to call him, do you really think that he's always been this amazing, honorable person? And then it's just, when he got a taste of money, it corrupted him? I don't think so. I'm just, I don't know him personally. I'm not following his case or anything like that. I don't think so. I think that capacity has always been inside him. It's just, mm, yeah, yeah. Because he had money, um, he was able to lose that inhibition that prevented him from acting out whatever yucky things he was already capable of. Like for me, um, before I began working publicly, I've been a stay-at-home mom, unemployed since early 2000, specifically since 2001. I've been an unemployed stay-at-home mom. So as I start working now, I'm having an income. Did that change me? No, it didn't. Because even as a unemployed stay-at-home mom, I have very distinct memories of going around Stockton, California with my children, a minivan full of toddlers, and passing out food to the homeless. Just me and my kids. And on hot days, we would stop at McDonald's and get however many apple pies and sundaes we could get. And we would hand those out to the homeless as well, never getting out of the car. My kids would save all of their coins, and we would sometimes drive around during Christmas time, and we would give out coins to the homeless. I'm still the same person. It's just now it's a lot easier for me to help people. It's a lot easier. Money doesn't change you. It makes it easier for who you are at your core to come through. That's what I had to learn. I will not be corrupted by money. I don't have that kind of relationship with money. My worth is not tied to my financials. It's not. It's not tied to profit statements or loss statements or any of that. It's just not. You need to be connected to the things that are important, things that give you a better understanding of your gravity, not things that help you to understand why other people are so much better than you, how little you have. Like, you can't tell me anything about anything when it comes to my life. I don't perceive the good parts of my life to be the parts where we had the most money. The good parts are the good parts because those are the parts where we forged a deeper bond as a family, where we learned we can count on each other. We learned we're not alone and that life is good even when there's no one else. When it's just us, life is still so fucking good. And I still maintain some of my most favorite, most cherished family memories are from the time where we lived in a parking lot. It was beautiful. I'm telling you. I'm not just saying that, like, I'm thinking about it and I'm seeing it, and it was just beautiful. It was beautiful. It was peaceful. There was none of that rat race. We had just what we needed. And when we learned what we needed to learn as a family, we were no longer in that parking lot. I'm very grateful for that period. It's not a low point, it's one of the highest points. And I think it will forever be one of the highest points of my life. Appreciate the times of your life that should be appreciated, not the times where you can brag about this and brag about that. I know quite a few people who the best times of their lives is when they had the presidential suite at some fancy hotel. Oh, when they were able to go ride on a yacht. And no, that's good. That wouldn't be one of my most treasured moments. I mean, my parents were high rollers in all casinos, and I've been in the presidential suite. That's not one of my, it's not, it's not even in the top 50. It's just not. We were in a hotel. We were in a casino. The air sucks. There's a lot of people miserable because they lost a lot of money. That's not going to be in my top 50. Are you kidding me? No. Who cares if it was a presidential suite? None of that matters to me. Receive healing. Allow yourself to heal beyond the limitations. You've confined yourself to this limited space because why? Because you haven't had what other people said you should have. They don't know you. They don't know your heart. They don't know what your purpose is, what your destiny is. Stop listening to people who are encouraging you and forcing you to be nothing more than a follower. Monkey see, monkey do, right? Except I'm not a monkey. I was mixed with alien. We all were. You're not here to monkey see, monkey do. You are here to live a life unrestricted. Amazing things are in store for you. So let it happen. Let it happen. Seek seclusion in reverse. It's time for you to come out of hiding. It's time for you to allow yourself to be witnessed. It's time for you to allow yourself to receive. A lot of what's going to happen next, it's highly contingent on what you will allow. Allow everything. Allow everything that your soul has planned for you. Even the hard parts, those are the parts where you cultivate more character, where you cultivate an awareness of how powerful you are, how capable you are, the degree of stamina you have. Take it all the way to the top. And when you get there, base jump to the bottom. Make life fun. Make life something that it was designed to be for you. Or you can continue following other people, um, living your life based on what other people say is important, trying to prove yourself to people who will never be satisfied. I mean, the people you're trying to impress, they have to change their entire wardrobe every season, or else they'll be wearing old clothes. To me, that's not luxury. That's waste. That is waste. That is ego fueled waste. Instead, be who you are, love what you love, and wear your value in the way you were designed to. I gotta get going. If you guys want to be part of the exclusive conversation we're going to have with our church members, click on that QR code or the link in the comments. We're going to be heading there in a few minutes. If you're not already a part of it, you just click on that and you go ahead and start any level of recurring contribution that is processed by the church. Soulwork Synergistics is our church. And all of that goes through to the church, not to me, to the church. And so, because of that, it counts as a recurring donation. You can claim that on your taxes if you're in the United States of America. All right. And then also, in a week, I'm going to have the Black Magic Revocation Workshop. I'm teaching some very, very powerful techniques. I'm not teaching witchcraft. I'm not teaching black magic, how to negate. Black magic is going to use my aura spectra bioregenesis applied biospiritual theories. So I'm teaching you how to energetically diffuse those attempts. Also, I'm going to be live tomorrow for the Past Life Tea Party. I'm going to have a whole bunch of different expedites available. I'm also going to have readings, scans, past life stuff. If you would like to join me for that, go check it out. Be live tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you haven't already found me on TikTok, find me, Emmy Evolving. Don't add that fake Emmy account. Don't have the fake Emmy account, okay? I only have one account and it has my Hoobie link. My Hoobie link. Okay. So I'll see you guys again. Find me, Emmy Evolving. I'll see you soon.